Why, hello, my good friends, and let me give you the official cheers and welcome to Hibiki Hour with the Lincoln. That's right, I'm calling it Hibiki Hour because that is what's in the glass. And as you can see, there's been a lot of Hibiki in my glass. I'm doing a pretty good job on this bottle, am I not? But anyway, welcome to Happy Hour with the Lincoln, where week by week I'll do my best to answer all of your stock market related questions, or maybe I'll just rant about a specific market topic. Nonetheless, I am here to share my 2 decades of trading experience with you in the attempts to help you evolve to that next level as a trader. So if you're sitting out there and you're like, hey, I think this topic would be beneficial to the trading community, I would like to know more about this topic, send it over to support@thelincolnlist.com. I'll do my best to put it on some of these upcoming episodes. And don't forget that my new DVD, that's right, my new DVD, Rock Solid, The Guide to Becoming a Complete Trader, is available, and it is free. It's free. It's a gift from my heart to the trading community. It is free, so right here is a link. Feel free to click on that link and start watching it right away. Now, I know you saw the title and you're really interested in this story that I have to tell you, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to share stories that will help build your character. How do you get rich on 20-cent soup cans? Well, I'm going to tell you here in just a second, but before, I want to lead up to this, because this is what this is all about. Now, if you've done any trading at all, for just a tiny bit, you soon realize that when you start out, you're like, hey, there is a secret sauce. There is a golden edge. There is something there that a pro knows that a Joe does not. But once you start doing it, you realize that about 90% of all the money that you make in trading has nothing to do with drawing lines on charts, looking at stochastics, MACDs, and floor pivots, Elliott wave, or any of that kind of stuff. Yes, it helps, but you realize when it comes down to it, what separates you from an amateur to a pro lies right between the ears. You know it, and I know it. And there comes this time when all of us, when I say all of us, I'm talking about everybody who's ever done this job, regardless of how successful or easy they may make you feel or sound. Everybody, every human being that's ever attempted to trade has found themselves at a crossroads of whether or not they can do this. There's always that spot right there where you say, I don't know if I'm cut out to be a trader. And it could be based on numerous things. Most likely it's losses. It's not being able to develop consistency. It's the up and downs. And this is one of the things I've talked about in past whiteboards and other kind of talks that I've done, is about the two things that trading has that a lot of careers don't, and that is see the loss and be the boss. The see the loss part is what I want to talk about, because this is one of the psychological things that we struggle with as traders that leads to problems, is that if you have a regular job, a 9 to 5 or something like that, if you kind of screw up at work, most likely, unless you just chronically do this all the time and you end up getting fired, most likely the worst ramification is that you get yelled at. However, us as traders, when we make a mistake, we instantly see it, like right there on the screen in bold red numbers. We see that, and that kind of works on your brain. So not a lot of other careers have that. Like if you're a real estate person, you might be losing 50,000 or 100,000 here and there, but for the most part, it's on paper. You're not really seeing that instant, like I push the button and all of a sudden I'm down several thousands and so on. So doing that works on your psyche and can turn against you. And when you start piling on loss after loss after loss, we eventually reach this point to where either we can't put any consistency together, or we feel like we've been studying and working real hard and putting in all these hours, and we're no better off than we were 6 months ago when we started, a year ago when we started. We're just like a hamster on a wheel, little of this, little of that. Every piece of bright hope that sent your direction is immediately taken away by some disastrous trade. And we all find ourselves at that very same crossroads. Do I continue on with trading, or do I go find something else to do? Now, I want to help you with that crossroads part. And this is where I want to tell you the story about the 20-cent soup can, okay? This happened to me way back. This is like 1990. And I've kind of told some stories about my insurance career. But not to bore you with a long talk, I was just turned 21 years old, just passed my life and health license and become an insurance agent. Now, I have absolutely zero assets to my name. I have a Pontiac Fiero. I have a white shirt and a blue shirt, like a dress shirt. a pair of gray pants and a pair of blue pants, and I alternated those every day. And the rest of my clothes were just like regular casual clothes in a hefty garbage bag. That was my entire net worth at 21. And I knew this job was going to be a challenge because it was the first time that I had ever worked and not been paid for working, because it was a commission-only job. So I had other jobs prior to that, like landscaping, or I was a grocery bagger, stuff like that. I did some construction work. And no matter how hard the work was, good or bad, you always at least got a check on Fridays. Well, this was the first time I didn't get checks. So everything, my whole entire life, my results in life were all going to be a product of how hard I worked and how I was able to get business done. Well, just kind of like my trading career, I sucked at that too to start. I mean, it wasn't that good. I was okay, but I wasn't good enough to put consistency together. So I was missing paychecks week here, week there, and stuff like that. And it was really difficult to survive, because here I am, 900 miles away from home. It's hard for me to come up with deposits, on utilities and rent and stuff like that to move into a place. So I'm just kind of living in these pay-by-the-day motels at the time. So anyway, to get to the story, there comes this one point where I am really struggling. And I've got a check coming on Friday for a couple of $100, which is going to make my life a lot easier, at least for the next couple of weeks. But I don't have any money whatsoever. I mean, I'm talking, when I say broke, guys, I'm talking about broke. This time you say, I ain't got no money, but you do have money. I'm talking about no credit cards, no money, no friends, no cash. Like, what's ever in your wallet, my hefty garbage bag, is my total net worth. And there is no money, like paper money. So it's a Thursday, the day before I'm getting my check. And I haven't eaten since Wednesday afternoon. I stole some cookies from the office. So I'm practically starving to death, or feel like I'm starving to death. So I'm sitting around my motel, which was also a slash, since it was paid by the way, it's like a slash hooker house to keep me up at night, I guess, the entertainment. But anyway, I'm sitting there, I'm starving to death. And I gotta have something. I gotta have something to eat. I gotta have something to eat. So I start scrounging around, and I find some change in my coffee holder in your car. I'm looking in between the bed sheets and everything, and drawers everywhere, pants, pockets, everywhere to find some money. Looking out on the street. Finally, I scraped together 30 cents. Seriously, I am not making this up. 30 cents. That is all of the currency I have to my freaking name at 21 years old. 30 cents. That's it. 30 cents. And I take that 30 cents and I walk down to the grocery store and I buy some clam chowder and a little Debbie cake that was 5 cents or something like that. So I got this clam chowder and a cake, and I took it back to my high class pay-by-the-day hotel, and I ate it. Now, I didn't even have anything to warm it up. I just opened it up, and I just basically ate it like it was cold. I know it's kind of disgusting, but hey, that's where I was at the time. Now, here's why I'm telling you this story, and it's what's important. Because there was this little moment there for a second. I'm not big on light bulb moments, and I don't want to say I was at rock bottom, but that was pretty close. But it was that kind of moment there. I'm sitting eating, and I'm thinking, damn, this is really bad. I realized at this point my life is in desperation mode because, like I said, I was 900 miles away from home. I don't have parents to go visit right now to feed me. I don't have any friends, family, or anybody in Florida. So I can't even go home right now. I've got just over half a tank of gas. It'll only get me to Georgia. And that's as far as I can go. So I have no choice now. And I got one paycheck coming and none the following week. So I have got to make some changes. So from that moment, the next day, my entire process of thinking went from, when you say, I gotta make it, you could say that to yourself, I gotta make it. And then a situation like that happens, you're like, no, I gotta make it. Because I was really thinking, hey, I wasn't, the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm still not. I was thinking, I might die here. I might actually die here. And it's not gonna happen. And from that moment, things started the way I approached business, the tenacity that I had as an individual, the way I thought about money, the way I thought about myself. Things started to change and slowly would improve. And, that was it for that kind of lifestyle. I've never had to do it. Now, how this works for you, I've always used that soup can reference my entire life. that anytime some challenge came in my way that was kicking my ass and getting the better part of me, I drew from that past experience and said, well, I'm not eating clam chowder out of a soup can tonight, right? If I am, I'm doing it because I want to. But I'm not soup canning it. So I've told the story before that when I started out, I practically went bankrupt when I did trading. I lost 2 accounts. Now I was broke then too, but I wasn't soup can broke, right? I wasn't that broke. I had credit cards. I had some cash float to work with here and there. I wasn't quite that bad. So here's what I want to say about that, why I'm telling you this story. And that's because when you find yourself at a crossroads and you're wondering, hey, this is too tough for me. I am not capable of doing something like this. I'm not smart enough. I'm not brilliant enough. I don't have what it takes. I don't have the edge. I'm not tenacious. Whatever the reason that you might come up, whatever the excuse. Here's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about a low point in your life like that. And I'm sure some of you may have never been that low. Some of you have probably been far off worse. But all it was drawing from an experience back in your past. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be a sporting event, a personal event, an emotional event. It does not make a difference. The important thing to understand is go back when you felt like, everything was against you. Everybody was against you. The world was against you. Life was against you. You were 2 seconds away from dying, at least in your mind. And somehow you came out of it okay, right? Draw from that and realize that, my friends, is what builds your character. That's what gives you the strength to stay here. So this whole time when I'm losing money as a trader, the only thing, every time I thought about quitting, I knew I was upset. I wanted to quit. I thought about it all the time. But it always crossed my mind that, hey, if I can come away from 20-cent soup cans, starving, and make it as an insurance agent, I can frickin' do this. I can do this. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to draw something from your past, something that was really bad if you can. And I just want you to think about that. So every time you run into a problem that you think you can't overcome, trading's got you down, I want you to think about just how bad it could be for you. I want you to say, it's just money today. I'm going to be all right. I'm going to find a way through this. And then you go back to the drawing board and you work again. And then you come back, and if it happens again, you go back to the drawing board and you come back. But you remember where it is that you came from as a person, your upbringing, whatever it was. You remember who you are, what you have done up to this point, how special you are as a person, because even all of us, regardless if some of you out there are jerks, I might be a jerk too, you're special in some way. Draw from that and go with it. Just go with that. Do that, dudes. And use that. Use that. Instead of making an excuse for you not doing it, use that as your excuse to carry on, to move on. Because, hey, if I can come away from 20-cent soup cans and turn out to be an okay dude later on, the rest of my life's gravy, right? If I got a house, a car, food, water, and shelter, and a little whiskey every once in a while, peeps, I'm in paradise. Everything else I've achieved above that, gravy. It's total gravy. Total gravy. And you can do it too. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story. Draw from something in your past. Do it now. Start today. Draw from something in your past. Write it down if you have to. But remember it. Every time you're down there and it's dark, I want you to think about it. It'll pull you out of it. You have a stronger character than you think you do, and you can do it. You can do it. You'll survive. Until the next Hibiki Happy Hour. This will probably be gone. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care and cheers.